Hello everyone and welcome to another speed building video on my channel. This is part 1 of a multi-part series which is called Building Rose Red. Now this build is based on a mini-series of the same name from the early 2000s which was written by Stephen King himself. I saw a Facebook post where someone asked if anyone could build Rose Red with the new Paranormal stuff pack, and I took the challenge upon me and tried to recreate Rose Red in The Sims 4. Now this is a really big house, and in part 1 I will be focusing on the exterior only, but I did not record everything because it is a huge house. So I only focused on the main body of the building and I didn't record the side wings. Now the side wings will be in the screenshots, so you will be able to see them at the end of this video. But I didn't want to bore you people to death with building. This mini-series was shot at a real-life location which is called Thornwood Castle, and it is in Washington, which is a beautiful mansion, and at the moment it's actually run as a guest house, so you can actually rent a room and stay the night there and explore the mansion and the grounds, which apparently are really nice, but I haven't been there myself, so I don't know. Now I will start roofing right now at this point in the video, and as you can imagine, it was actually really hard to roof the whole place. Now the first part of the roofing was actually not too difficult because I had a lot of reference photos I could use from Thornwood Castle itself. But from these side wings I really had to use my imagination because there wasn't a lot of imagery available. I even started up the movie and took some screenshots from the exterior and the interior to use as inspiration, but even then it was very difficult, so it might not resemble it 100% in the end, but it does have the same atmosphere as the movie, or at least I like to believe that. Now Stephen King was inspired by the real-life story of the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California, which was built by Sarah Winchester after the death of her late husband, William Wirt Winchester. Now, he invented the Winchester rifles, and Sarah Winchester moved to California after his death, and she was led to believe that in order to appease the spirits from all the victims that were killed by the Winchester rifle, she had to build a house and keep on building. Now it's the same story goes for Rose Red, where the mistress of the house, Ellen Rimbauer, is also led to believe that she can live forever as long as she keeps building Rose Red. At first, Stephen King actually wanted to write a haunted house book instead of making the script for this miniseries. Now, he also thought that the ultimate haunted house story had already been written by Shirley Jackson and her now really famous book, The Haunting of Hill House. So he decided to write a screenplay instead. And he actually wanted to make a movie about Rose Red that would serve as a soft remake of the 1963 movie The Haunting, which was based on the book by Shirley Jackson. Now that movie never got made, and another remake was actually made of The Haunting, which is also called The Haunting of 1999. Now that movie wasn't really spectacular or even successful at the box office. And so King decided to expand the screenplay into a miniseries and make a novel for TV instead. Now I want to tell you a little bit more about the backstory of Rose Red, which is told in the miniseries, but there's also a companion book which serves as a prequel to Rose Red, and it's called The Diary of Ellen Rimbauer. Now I have to warn you, there will be some minor spoilers for the story, so if you really do not want any spoilers, I advise you to skip to the screenshots to the end of the video. So, Rose Red was built by John Rimbauer. It was actually a gift for his wife Ellen as a wedding gift. The construction started in 1906 in the center of Seattle. Even during the construction, people started dying in mysterious ways. Now, the Rimbauers decided to go on a world tour during the construction of Rose Red for a whole year. And when they started touring Africa, Ellen got sick with a sexual transmittable disease she got from her husband, her unfaithful husband. Now, they met a local tribeswoman named Sukina who nursed Ellen back to health. Now, Ellen and Sukina actually became really close friends, which led to Sukina accompanying the Rimbauers back to Rose Red, which was finished by now, and she would work there full time as a servant. The Rimbauers soon got two children, Adam and April, but Ellen became really unhappy in their marriage to her neglectful and cheating husband. Now, after a seance at the house, Ellen was led to believe that if she continued to build and expand the house, she would never die, which resembles the story of the Winchester mansion as mentioned before. At this point in the video, I'm actually building the Rose Tower, which was built after one of the bizarre disappearances of April Rimbauer. April was one of many women disappearing in the house. Now, bizarre deaths and unresolved disappearances became more commonplace at the house throughout the years. Female servants started to disappear, and one of John Rimbauer's friends died of bee stings, whilst one of his business partners hanged himself in front of the children. Now, during April's disappearance, 8-year-old Adam was sent off to attend boarding school and kept away from the house as much as possible. John Rimbauer died in an apparent suicide by throwing himself from the upper stained glass window in the Rose Tower. But actually, in the movie, it turns out it happened a little bit different than we were led to believe in the beginning. After her husband's death, Ellen used nearly all of her late husband's fortune to continually add to the home over the next several decades, enlarging it significantly. The mysterious disappearances continued to occur, like a famous actress and dear friend of Ellen's, Diane Petrie, who vanished within the house's billiard room during a party in the 1940s. In the 1950s, both Ellen and Sukina had disappeared themselves in Rose Red. Now, Ellen Rimbauer was actually last seen in the perspective hallway. It's one of the famous rooms I will be building in one of the future videos, and I will talk about it a little bit more. Adam Rimbauer, as you might remember, who left Rose Red to go to boarding school, returned to Rose Red after his mother had disappeared in the 1950s. Now, he lived there for a short while with his family, but they got spooked out because they saw some paranormal activities going on. Like one day, he saw his little sister April, who had disappeared in the house. He saw her ghost appear in front of him, and rooms also changed appearances right in front of his eyes. So it seemed like Rose Red had a life of its own, and it kept expanding and changing its appearances. After the Rimbauer family left the house fell into disrepair because all the servants started to leave as well because of all the paranormal activity going on. Now, there were some tours that were organized by the Seattle Historical Society, but they also ceased their operations because of a woman disappearing in Rose Red during one of the tours. And although the police kept searching for her for days, they couldn't find a trace of her. Now let's jump to the current day where Rose Red is owned by the great grandson of Ellen and John Rimbauer, Stephen Rimbauer. He has decided to open up the house for a huge paranormal investigation, which is led by his girlfriend, Joyce Reardon. Now, this is where I will end the backstory of Rose Red for now at least. I might touch upon the subject again in future videos, but we are getting near the end of part 1, so it's about time I start wrapping up this video. Now, I want to thank you to watch this video and join me on the history of Rose Red. Now, this build is already up on the gallery and you can download it. It is called Rose Red, very simply, Rose Red. Now, you can also find it if you look for my username or origin ID, which is Wizard of Oz 1988. That is Oz with a double Z at the end. Now, I will provide all the details in the video description as well, so it should be easy to find. Now, I want to thank you again for watching. Comment down below to tell me what you think about this video. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to my channel to help it grow. And I would like to invite you to part 2 very soon. Enjoy the screenshots and I will see you in part 2 of this series. Have a nice day. Bye.